All right, welcome back. I'm doing it again. Now, this is not the best weekend for me to be doing this. I am selling the house, and Megan and I have been putting a lot of work and time and energy into getting this place ready to sell. And we should be doing a lot more of that today, but spearfishing is more than just a sport. It's more than just a hobby for me. This is how I feed us mostly. So it not only saves us a lot of money, but as far as lifestyle is concerned, spearfishing for me is the best way for me to get the healthiest food. You are literally what you eat. So the quality of food that you take in matters a lot, and you can feel that. But it is another beautiful day out here. I got high hopes and expectations, but it's not going to be quite as calm as it was a couple days ago when I went by myself. So we're going to be sucking a little bit of water in the snorkel today, but it still should be a really nice day out there. We're going to try to shoot for some depth today. We haven't really been hitting too much depth lately, and we're both feeling it. So we'll see what we get into out there. And I'm going to start by popping my socks on here so I don't tear them up when I'm getting in and out of the water. Throw my fins on, load that gun, and let's go for a swim. Get out there. Now, this was not our mission today, but as we're swimming out, we passed through this bait ball, and I just had to do a warm-up drop on it, about 55 feet here. I'm not really hunting. I just want to go get warmed up and play a little bit because it's just so beautiful. It never gets old. I love playing with these fish. Look how cool that is. Just a great way to start the day before we punch it out farther to go get the depth that we're after. And this was a very confidence-boosting start to my day because I'm feeling pretty comfortable out here. I think it's going to be the right day to go hit a little bit of depth. Let's see what happens. Then after a bit more of a swim, I'm in about the same depth or so, about the mid-50s, and I hunt this spot occasionally. I've gotten some moo here. I've seen ukus. There's a lot of really good fish around this zone. So I'm just going to see if anything rolls through here before we head up a little bit farther, because I traditionally have a lot of luck in this spot, and I'm not really seeing much right now. It's really pretty out here. There's a lot of really nice coles around. There's some good life, but nothing that I'm really interested in shooting. So I'm still kind of warming up and getting an idea what's happening out here with the fish. So I'm gonna head up, breathe up, and head farther out. Then this guy rolls through and kind of surprised me. He comes in for a sniff, and I asked him where the moos are, and he said, "Over this way, brother." So we pack up and we follow him that way. So then a little farther out, we find a little bit more depth. And now we're in the 70s here. I wanted to land in the sand, but from the top, I couldn't really tell the topography of the reef. And I'm looking up at a pretty steep slope, which is never really ideal for hunting. So I look behind me, see if anything comes in. But looking up takes a lot of energy. It burns your bottom time. The fish don't tend to come in from this angle. So I kind of made a mistake here. And I'm just going to take one more look around, head up, and not waste this dive. I'll try it again after. Still pretty out here though. So then we find this super cool crack that we can dive into. It's about the same depth or so in the 70s, right above 70 feet. And I'm going to settle into this really nice nook here where I am really well hidden, and I can also see the fish really well, and I can relax here. It's a really good hiding spot. Put my flasher on my pinky so I don't have to hold it. And there are some big moo in the distance, and I'm going to see if I can get them to come in. Little scratching, grunting. I feel like I'm in the perfect spot, the right depth. I'm feeling very relaxed. And I'm thinking they're going to come in. I try my tricks. They're way too smart for me, way too stubborn. I can't get them to come in. And I'm still kind of warming up my bottom time a little bit here. I don't want to push it too hard. I'm going to go see if a lunge will work on them. So I go to leave here, go after them. They're onto it immediately. It's just not going to work. So I'm going to head up and give them a try from a different angle. So I changed my angle of approach in pretty much the same spot. I found this better spot to hide, and I made some mistakes in the last dive. I was a little bit too anxious, a little bit too aggressive. So I'm going to try to keep my head down a lot more this time and try to relax. That big fat Roy comes in. I think about shooting him, but those moo are right over there, and I want to really give them my full attention and see if any of my tricks will work, because I'm really after mood today. That's kind of my first priority. I'm just kind of feeling that. And I'm going to work for these guys. I got Alex spotting me so I can push it a little bit of scratching, and they are just not coming in. So if they were starting to move in, I could probably push it a little bit more, but they're showing no interest, at least up close. So we're going to move on. This is not the spot. So now we push it out to a little bit more serious depth here, and I'm going to show you the whole dive from start to finish. And after a really long, relaxing breathe up, when I feel very ready and in my body, I do as smooth of a duck dive as I can manage, and I try to keep my finning to a minimum. Now for the first 30 feet or so, I got to kick kind of hard to break that buoyancy, and then I really turn down my finning, and I'm going to take my time getting down here, because there's a couple things that really help with your bottom time. And if you really think about slowing down on your descent, then not only are you going to be more efficient and save a lot of energy that way, but the thing that I think goes unnoticed is that because you're so much more calm, that all the fish in the area that are watching you are going to be less intimidated by you, so they're going to be more likely to come in sooner. So as soon as I land here, I land in exactly the right spot. I look over and there's a monster moo coming in, and he's easily within range. He gives me exactly the shot I need. I put a quick shot into him. I know it's going to hold, so I had no bottom time here. And I'm going to haul him to the surface. It's a little bit harder coming up because the fish creates a lot of drag. And oh, look at that Alua coming in, check me out. Anyway, on the way up, I really focus on keeping my knees as straight as possible, because it's a far more efficient way to kick, because I don't want to feel like I'm on a bicycle. And it helps you relax a lot more too. I just think I'm right here right now. I'm in no rush. I don't look up. I'm just going to get there when I get there. And the calmer I am on my ascent, the smoother I'm going to be. And as a little bonus, I take a little sniff through my nose every 10 feet or so. I can rebreathe that air in my mask, and I surface just fine.
A big Alua down there too. 96.
He called it. Deeper was the answer.
He came right up to me.
Yeah.
Like when I landed, he came right in. And there's a good Alua down there too.
That's a nice size fish.
It's a nice bud. Yeah, stoked. You breathe up. I got it.
Then after Alex went down for a nice deep drop, in the same general area, I just want to try a little different spot, and I aim for the sand down here. And I was really hoping to push it out to about 110, 120 here, but I landed right at 99 feet, and there's nothing else deeper around me, so that's all I'm going to get today, and that's okay. And I'm facing these rocks, and there's a really big toa dancing around that I think about shooting, but I also don't want to shoot my shaft into a puka at this depth and get the shaft stuck and have to come back down for it, so I let him go. And then that current pushes us in a little bit further into the shallows in this bouldery area, and we're back in the mid 70s here, and I'm just going to see if there's anything that changes as far as life goes. I throw a little dusting up there, and it's pretty fishy out in this zone. I'm going to try to stay really low, and right over there's a nice moo that's coming in. He's checking me out, and I'm going to try to slowly sneak under this rock, and I'm using my hand to pull myself across the sand, and I know that if I can get a hand on that coral head, I can close the gap. And I'm inching my way over. I get my hand on it, and I know that I got him, but he turns away from me. I take a really long shot, but I made these shots before, and I got him. Barely. Wait till you see this shot. Can't believe he stayed on. So I'm going to play him very gentle at no pressure and hopefully haul him to the surface safely. And I surface just fine. And we're going to try to get him up without him ripping off. Look how narrow. Oh, he scared me right there. I thought I was going to lose him, but I bear hugged him and I got him.
It was pretty much the worst shot I could have taken.
It doesn't get much closer to losing a fish than that. Damaged no meat though. Now after dealing with that fish, the current pushed us a little bit further out, and we are now back in the mid 80s or so, about 85, 86 feet. Alex goes down and he said that there's a pretty big knife jaw down there. He took a lunge at it, but he couldn't catch up to it. So I'm gonna go down and investigate and see what we got going on down here. Nothing out to the right. There's some fish out to the left. Pretty nice oohoo that comes in over there, and I'm looking in the distance for that knife jaw. A couple Nainuis pop in. I don't see anything coming in worth shooting yet. Take another look around, and there's that knife jaw back there. He wasn't kidding. Yep, there it is. Give a little wave, and I'm thinking I can go close that gap. It's a little bit deep for me to be doing work down here, but I've done it before. I can probably catch up to him, but right away he's onto it, and I'm actually paying very close attention to where he holds up, because knife jaws have a tendency to stay holed up wherever they go. So I mark that rock and we do a breathe up. So after Alex does a scoping dive, he said, yeah, they're still down there. He couldn't quite get the right drop on them, so I picked this spot that's right behind that boulder patch where they're holed up, and I find this absolutely perfect spot to hide and where I still have good visibility, and there's a knife jaw right there already, and there's 2 more coming in. I just need to pick the right size one. There's a nice moo. And as he's coming in, I think I'm going to get him, and that monster rolls up, but he's too big, so I'm going to go for the little one. But I spooked him, and as he takes off, I'm getting pretty uncomfortable here, so I put a shot in the big one. I am hurting. I got to unhook this from the coral head so I don't have to come down and do dangerous work later. I try to pull him out of that hole, but I am really struggling. I'm in a lot of discomfort. I'm convulsing. I give a couple hard pulls. He does not come out, so I try to loosen up the reel. I can't get it, so now I have to haul my reel and my gun to the surface, which creates a lot of drag. I am not doing too well right here. I'm hurting pretty bad. I'm hustling for the surface. Air starts to leave my mask. I use my hands to surface, and I barely make it up without blacking out. But I do have the gun in my hand.
Okay, for shot.
What's the situation?
He's in a hole, but I got a good shot to him.
And by some miracle, he releases and he comes out of the hole. And as he's on his way up, Alex goes down to make sure it doesn't need a backup shot, but it's a really good holding shot, and we're good. I haul him in. Really big fish.
Yeah, it's a donkey, huh?
Dude, look at that thing.
I'm gonna test to make sure it doesn't have sig.
Oh, that thing's massive.
There's like 4 or 5 more down there.
Oh yeah.
It's a whole family.
And by far one of the most unique and ugly fish out there. They're kind of cool, but they're a little bit ugly too. But we're still feeling some depth. We're out here. There's a lot of fish moving around, and I'm about 80 feet here on the next dive, and this is a whole different world than I was feeling before. That last knife jaw dive really took it out of me. I can feel my whole body resisting. It does not want to dive deep anymore. I do not want to hold my breath. I don't have it in me, so I'm going to head up. No, we've been out here for quite a while. We've been doing a lot of drops, and we drifted quite a ways, and we have a long ways to go back. So we're getting kind of over it, so we're ready to start heading back. And so we're in the 60s now, a little bit shallower. And because I'm not sure if that knife jaw has ciguatera or not, I'm not sure if I need more fish yet. So I'm going to take out the right one. There's a nice Munu right there. I love Munu. He's about the right size. So I'm going to try to take him. I'm going to stone him if I can. But he doesn't let that happen. He gives me a ninja move, just like the last one in my last dive day, if you guys saw that video. So I just wanted to show this one because this is kind of unique. I landed right behind this coral, and for some reason I thought it was hard, but it was actually really spongy. It was like made of rubber. It was really kind of bizarre. Look at that. I should have seen this before. I'm in the water a lot, but I guess I just really never noticed this type of coral. It's really cool. I'm trying not to lay on it. I don't want to hurt it. And there's quite a bit of fish around still, but I am in a lot of discomfort. My body is over it, and I'm ready to head in. But we're still going to try to get some fish for Alex. So I go to this spot where I shot a bunch of Munus before, and I said, yo, there's a lot of goats down here. Go check them out. We drop the rest of the chum bag, and he comes up with a really nice Monocollie.
Yeah, it's a nice collie. Big enough to eat.
Thought about that blue uhu, and I was like, came like right to the end of the spear.
And while I really don't need any more fish and I'm really over it, we're in the mid-50s again, a little bit shallower, and I just have to do one more for the day to feel satisfied. And I take a look around if there's any more goats or anything special, and I don't really see anything worth shooting. I have had enough. I got plenty of fish, so let's haul them in. I am hurting. It's about 30-40 minutes of swimming like this, and that's what it takes to get back to our exit point and get on out of here. And then right before I get ready to pop my fins off and exit the water, I see this slipper lobster poking out, but it's just a shell. was super fun. Really great day out there. And the funny part, I didn't film this, was Jake was in Maui for the weekend diving off a boat, and he just got back this morning, and he ran from the airport out into the water and went to look for us. We didn't see him in the water, but we did see him on land. That was pretty funny. He went out there trying to scare us out there. So just hung out with Jake and Alex. I'm heading home right now. See you guys there. You. Right, check that guy out. Knife jaw. They're pretty rare out there. There are actually a lot of them out there. They're just really hard to find because they live in the rocks and they're pretty shy. So super stoked on that guy. I don't get these very often. One of the worst experiences I ever had in my life was getting ciguatera poisoning off a really big one a couple years ago. So I'm a little scared right now. I would do a catch and cook with this one, but I just don't trust it yet. I need to test it for a few days first to make sure it's safe. So we're gonna do that with Moo, but at least I'm gonna chop this guy up because it's kind of a rare fish and it's a fun one. They are delicious. They're great sashimi. I think they're better cooked, but they're just a fantastic fish. They tend to be on the bigger side, so there's a lot of meat on them. Bright white meat. Just no chances on this one because ciguatera off a knife jaw is brutal. I couldn't even get off the couch for a couple months. I thought my life was over. It took 3 months start to finish before I felt normal. Check that out. Look how thick that slab is. Nice white meat. It's fantastic. It's so good. I just really hope that it's safe to eat. So we're gonna do the fly and ant test. I'm gonna leave a little piece out overnight and see if the flies and ants are on it. And that's usually for your first indicator. And if they are on it, it means it's probably safe. And I'm just gonna try a little bit, and then I'll give it 24 hours. And I'll try a little bit more if that's okay. And so it takes me a few days to kind of feel comfortable eating it, but if it's good to go, we're in business. Yes, you. Check out that pile of knife jaw. Hopefully we can eat it. We'll see. Yeah, check out that moo. This one I know is safe. Pretty stoked about that. It's the biggest moo I shot in a while. Deepest moo I shot in a long time. Quick chop on this guy and we'll add him to that pile. Not a bad pile for one day of diving. You. So we have this beautiful moo fillet. We have a little bit over half of all the fillet that I took off this today. And we're just gonna start by mincing this up. Now we're just gonna add a whole bunch of green onion to that, which luckily we have plenty of right here. That should be good. And now we're just gonna add a big old healthy scoop of mayonnaise. That should be plenty. Now 2 eggs. Some sriracha. And the best part, panko. Just gonna add a little at a time and mix it in there. After the first pour, we're about there. Got a long ways to go, and I don't know why you only add a little at a time. When you try to do it all at once, it just doesn't work. And that's just about right. So now, we're gonna make a little beer batter with some cornstarch, and we're gonna deep fry them. So let's get that fryer going. Pour a little of this in there. That's just about right. Now we're gonna roll these into little golf balls, dunk them in there, deep fry them, and then we eat them. Take a little golf ball size, like that. Go right. And I'm just gonna do that for a little while. Let you know when I'm done. There we go. We got 5 of them going right now. And we're just gonna keep the batches small. Take our time with them, and they'll be ready soon. We still got a lot more to go. You. All right, those have been going for a few minutes. They're just about the right amount of done. This paper bag here in our, we like using paper bags sometimes. All right, we'll get the next batch going. This is our last batch. I'm already cleaned up, mostly. Clean as you go. Makes the mess a lot easier to deal with in the end. And it makes my girlfriend happy. Look at that mountain of fish cake balls. Ooh, yeah. So we're just gonna throw a little Thai chili sauce in there. Let's give these a go, huh? Take one from the bottom. A little bit on the cooler side. Maybe it's because it's the first real thing I've eaten all day. But man, I could eat these every day. That is magic. So good. No complaints. Had to work hard for those moo today. If you guys watch those dives, those are some of the hardest moo shots I ever had. It paid off. I put the work in out there. And again, thank you, Alex. I can't do that stuff without you. You're a rock star out there. Really appreciate you spending the time, watching my back, backing up my shots, making sure we come home safe. I'm gonna sit down and eat because I'm exhausted and I got a long week ahead of me. So thank you guys again so much for watching. For everyone who likes, subscribes, comments, appreciate you guys, and I'll catch you next time.